Welcome back to the podcast. On today's episode, we figured it out. Cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. If you've never heard that term, you've probably been living it.
Welcome back to the show. We are just these guys. I am Lance.
And I'm Mike. And it is a great day here in Doodah. And what do you have going on over there?
Like I said, I can't chew gum and walk at the same time. And without the headphones on, I feel naked.
Naked?
What do I got going on over here? Examples of how to live what we're talking about today. Cognitive dissonance. You mentioned cognitive dissonance. And so we're going to talk about cognitive dissonance. You asked me to talk about cognitive dissonance, and that brought to mind, I do this most mornings, and I thought I would share it with you.
As the behavior.
So if you want to take a sample.
Acting healthy.
Take a.
This is me sniffing it.
Trust me. Check it out. I'll do it.
Well, it ain't a matter of trust.
Boom.
It's more a matter of distrust.
That's
pretty good.
I trust you. Help me with my distrust.
We come at you with a positive. Yeah, that's good.
Almond milk, bananas, strawberries, water, and a shot of healthy greens just to get nutrients in the body in the morning.
Well, that is way better than that other green muck you used to give me.
Well,
like way better.
This is green muck doctored up.
Okay, so help us with some of the main health benefits here.
Oh, it's just got all your whatever healthy thing you ever thought you needed. It's in there.
Kind of the given.
That's, that's my, I'm not going to go through a list of
This is a pinky up positive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Amino acids and, I don't know.
I mean, that's really pleasant.
Dan Bongino said it's healthy, so I bought it.
Gotcha. But what is the contraption?
Oh, this is just simply a blender, a portable blender.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought.
So if I'm out and this has coagulated,
the ninja.
I can hit the button.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you get that? Were you up at like 3:00 in the morning watching the Home Shopping Network?
Actually, the world has moved on from the Home Shopping Network, Mike. You and Homer Simpson.
Not in my house.
You and Homer Simpson are the only ones up at 3 a.m. waiting for that special.
No. We're procrastinating on moving on. And I got to just mention the shirt. You got a thing going on here.
This is for my people in Cambodia.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Yeah, a little Southeast Asian style going on here.
Yeah, it definitely Southeast Asian.
Hey, they're going to tune in. I'm going to respect them.
Yeah. So where do you go for your Southeast Asia shopping? Same place as the ninja, isn't it? Everything's online.
Quick. That's what I'm about. Fast, quick. Let's do it quick.
Yep.
That's why I hate people who talk about cognitive dissonance.
Can we just get on with it? Move along. Now, I have a little bit of good news before we get started. I mean, this is pretty amazing, really. So out in the podcast land, there is such a thing as the Amazon Music Top Podcasts.
Right.
Okay, top podcasts. And so there's a list of 4 podcasts that I'm looking at here. Number 1 podcast, I'll just show you this, is called Smartless.
Smartless?
Look at the number 3 podcast.
You mean number?
No, number
3 is Up First from NPR.
From NPR. That's number 3. What's number 4?
Fly on the Wall with Dana Carvey and Donald Spade.
Yeah.
David Spade.
David Spade. Yep.
Dana Carvey and David Spade.
Yeah. That's number 4.
Fine print.
What's number 2?
Number 2 is Just These Guys.
Yeah. In the Amazon Music Top Podcast.
That deserves a
big old round of applause. Yeah.
Number 2.
Number 2. Uh-oh. We started all over.
There we go.
There we go. So now back to reality. That's just one guy's opinion.
Wait
a buddy of mine, Adam, he sent
It
that
says
over.
Amazon Music.
I know. When he first sent it to me, I was confused. I was like, what?
Don't say the next part.
Yeah, exactly.
Screenshot that. We'll put that on Facebook.
Now we've created dissonance. So, yeah, Adam sent this to me, and his note said, just giving you guys some love today. And I said, now, where does this come from? He said, it's just my top 4.
Oh.
I was like, well, I'll take it.
Oh,
I'll take it. The first
that's
goal has
great.
to be getting on somebody's top 4.
Right.
So there we go. Oh, okay, cognitive dissonance.
Ranked choice voting.
Yes, let's get to it. So I saw that term online, and I thought, that kind of does describe for me. So now, my very simpleton mind. Okay, so cognitive dissonance. As I looked that up, it's how you think and how you behave, and that there's tension between the two. There's disharmony between the two. And because we talk all the time about what we want. Well, what is it that you want? And we talk about change.
Yeah.
And I'm in the change business, helping people to change their hearts based on not what they not want. Based on what they want.
Yes.
Okay. So then the challenge sets in to actually make the changes and to experience bringing harmony into what we want, our values, our beliefs, and how we behave.
And when I experience dissonance from somebody else, say a client,
Okay.
and when I experience dissonance from you, that tells me you have not made the transformation. I have my tools
Yes.
but yeah, if you're having dissonance, you haven't transformed. And you'll see why when we dig into what dissonance is. And don't fall asleep. Stick around. This is very short. It's not going to be, some boring psychological presentation because I don't like those.
Yeah. Well, dig in.
Well, and this is also why a lot of Christians, struggle is cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance, as you said, is the mental discomfort that results from holding two conflicting beliefs or values or attitudes, when a person's beliefs are inconsistent with their behavior.
Yeah.
Discomfort arises. When I have two different beliefs, discomfort arises and compels me to do something to manage that discomfort. And so I just went out on the website, find some smart person who's talking about cognitive dissonance all the time. And they say signs of cognitive dissonance, feeling uncomfortable for doing something or making a decision, trying to justify or rationalize a decision you made or an action you have taken, justify or rationalize, feeling embarrassed or ashamed about something you've done and trying to hide your actions from people, experiencing guilt or regret about something you've done, doing things because of social pressure or fear of missing out on something.
FOMO. Yep.
So their examples were, you want to be healthy, hello, but you don't exercise regularly and eat a nutritious diet. Now, I'm going to take umbrage with some of their language because I know what they mean, and they're not saying what they mean. They're not saying what people are actually thinking. You know that smoking or drinking is harmful to your health, but you do it anyway. And then you rationalize this action by pointing at you don't drink as much as other people, or you only drink on the weekend, or you're not harming anybody. You'd like to build up, you think you should build up your savings account. I should save more. I should have a saving. Everybody should have a good savings account, but you get your paycheck and then you blow it all. And then when you realize that you don't have any money to save, you regret your decision to blow all your money right away. Any of this, not personally ringing a bell, but Any ringing a bell? People come to you.
Oh, to me, this is most
I
of
had,
us.
I had a guy come in and he had won a lawsuit in a motor vehicle accident, and the lawyer had said, this is the settlement amount, and by this date we'll have that settlement in. And the guy said, well, I don't have anything to drive right now. So the lawyer loaned him $5,000 to get a vehicle. So the guy went out and bought an Audi.
Good choice.
They used the $5,000 not to buy a replacement vehicle, but to put a down payment on a $100,000 vehicle.
Yeah.
And then he had these plans to create a college savings account for his kids, and instead he bought a big screen TV and Xbox, and then by the time the settlement came in, he had borrowed so much against it from the attorney for these luxuries that there really wasn't much of a settlement left. And then he spent the next 6 months regretting his decisions, driving a car that he hated every time he got in it.
Well, so I always get my loans from Payday Loans. I always get my furniture from Rent-A-Center because I'm very smart with my money. No, the people who are not coming into the office and talking about stuff like this are the people doing really well with this stuff. They're living very comfortably. They don't have that discomfort or they don't have that tension because they're actually living out what they want.
Not true.
Okay.
The people aren't coming in the office talking about it because they're hiding it.
No, well, I'm saying, but the people who do come in are not the people who are really struggling, doing it well. They're the ones struggling.
You don't want your spouse to know that you haven't done any of the laundry list of things that you're supposed to do that day. So at the last minute, you jump up and move a bunch of stuff around to make it look like you've been working hard all day. Throw flour on your face, throw a bunch of dirt on the ground, sweat. Oh my God, what a day. So this is, these are examples of cognitive dissonance.
Yeah, that reminds me. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, it's a lot of times where we will say, "Oh my gosh, I have had a day. What a day." We're just basically trying to cover up the fact that nothing got accomplished today.
Right. It's so tough.
Everything got in the way of my progress.
I cramped my thumb on Xbox. So then they go on to explain causes of cognitive dissonance.
Thank you.
Forced compliance. So you feel pressure to sell a product.
Sure.
So you don't believe in the product, or you don't believe you should take money from an old lady, but your boss is saying you need to sell.
Yep.
And you don't think you should be selling to this customer.
Because they don't really need it.
They don't need it. They don't have the money for it. But now you're doing it.
And it's an Audi.
And you feel uncomfortable because you're doing something you don't believe in.
Yeah.
Pressure to skip school. You don't think you should skip school, but here's all your friends saying, let's skip school today. And you're like, oh, God, I don't want to. But you go ahead and skip school to go along, to get along. So forced compliance. New information. You get new information about something you've done. So, for example, years ago, my neighbor bought a new Mazda, and he rolled up. And he had told me that he'd been looking at this new Mazda, this new model of Mazda coming out. And this was in the days of magazines. And I had a magazine in my house. And when he mentioned he was looking at this car, they had a full spread page. And the car was, big bold letters, $12,900 MSRP. He rolls up with it. Couple days later, I walk out there and he's, showing it to the neighbors, and somebody asked him, how much was that? And he said, $21,000. And I took a step back and he looked at me because he knew I knew.
Yeah.
And he said, but it's a little more than MSRP, but I get free oil changes and I get, there's a warranty that comes with this. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, it's a great deal. Great. But he's having to, the dissonance is he found out after he bought it that he had paid too much. And so what do you do with that discomfort? He starts rationalizing the higher price away so he can feel comfortable with his decision. The discomfort came after he got the new information.
Yeah.
Decisions. People make decisions, both large and small, on a daily basis. And when faced with two similar choices, we're often feeling with dissonance because both options are equally appealing. So what should I do? Should I have my cake or should I eat it too? What should I have the cake or should I have the ice cream? And it's oftentimes met with regret after you choose one thing and now you're wishing you'd have chosen the other thing.
Yeah.
And so the internal discomfort rises up because you have to decide between two different things. So, any questions about cognitive dissonance?
Well, before we get to the whole, okay, so what do we do? Thing is, we're 83. This is episode 83. 83 episodes in. And I feel like I'm just starting to come out of my slumber. So I still got the fog.
Sure.
I just woke up. Okay. And 83 episodes in, I'm starting to become a little more self-aware. That's really what we're after.
Sure.
Is to help people to make a connection of who they are.
Right.
And what they want.
Right.
And have the life that has less discomfort going on, because that really is where it all starts. And if you're living with, it's kind of like my physical body this morning. I sat down, was going to do a little reading. I got my cup of coffee. I sat down with my cup of coffee. I took a drink, and the very first drink, I had a mouthful of hot coffee, and I had to cough. It was at the exact same time I had dissonance. My physical
dissonance.
body, yes, physiological. My body did not want it. It wanted to get something out before that came in, and I managed to scaldingly. My throat was in. I had a battle going on right there. But I got it down, and then I coughed for about 5 minutes. But that, I'm just trying to make a connection to the mental battle that's going on, and the self-awareness is so big. I have lived basically my whole life very self-unaware.
And you just Google this in any of these articles, you're going to gain the awareness. The article goes on what influences cognitive dissonance, how cognitive dissonance feels.
Sure.
Anxiety, embarrassment, regret, sadness, shame, guilt, stress.
Yeah. But you can't, just Google it, but you don't Google it until you're aware that it is something.
Right. And there's a point to what I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
The impact of cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
Adopting beliefs so you adopt beliefs that you don't believe to justify your actions. You hide from other people.
Yep.
People who, the example in here is people who, hide their smoking when friends come around, only seeking out information that confirms an existing belief. So, I'm working really hard to keep this belief system in place so I don't look at anything that challenges it or I discount. I find a way to discount the source. Then here's dealing with cognitive dissonance. And by this point in the article, I was getting mad, so I'm making notes in the margin.
Yeah.
It says, adding more beliefs to outweigh dissonant beliefs. So people who learn that greenhouse gas emissions result in global warming might experience feelings of dissonance if they drive a gas-guzzling vehicle. What? Why we got to go woke in this article? To reduce this dissonance, they may seek out new information that overrides the belief that greenhouse gases contribute to global warming. What? So you're saying they're lying to themselves.
Right.
But this is dealing with the cognitive dissonance. You lie to yourself. Reduce the importance of the conflicting belief. So you rationalize away the belief that, and then changing beliefs is one sentence And then there's a recap, and then there's potential pitfalls of cognitive beliefs. And then there's a history of cognitive dissonance, pitfalls of cognitive dissonance, history of cognitive, final thoughts, references, 1 sentence on what to do. And this sentence is useless. Changing the conflicting cognition is one of the most effective ways of dealing with dissonance, but it is also one of the most difficult.
So that's all we got to do. Change.
Change the conflicting. Now, which one's the conflicting one?
Right.
Is there greenhouse gases warming up the earth going to kill all the little baby squirrels and children? Or is it all a political ploy to gain more power? Which belief is the conflicting one that you now have to change? I should exercise more for longer health, but I enjoy eating my ice cream. Which is the conflicting belief I must change? Enjoy life now or enjoy life in 20 years? Which one is right? What should I do? Have you not heard? Think back to as I'm reading this scientific article, how many shoulds, must have to, needs to, did you hear in here? How many frustrations, guilts, which are the result of should, must have to, need to.
Right.
This is where cognitive dissonance comes from, from having a perspective of shoulds.
Yep.
That we talk about all the time. You open it up, we talk about what we want. And I said, I know I'm seeing dissonance when I hear what the person is saying, but I see the conflict. So I may say, I want to be in better shape, but I don't work out. No, you don't want to.
Right.
You're actually thinking, I should get in better shape. I should start working out. I shouldn't have let myself go. That's what you're thinking. Because if you wanted to be in better shape and you're not working out, you'd simply be disappointed. I'd love some ice cream, but I really don't want to run up to Brahms.
Yeah.
So I'm disappointed. That's it. If I wanted to be in good shape, but I really didn't feel like putting out all the effort, I'm disappointed. But if I'm feeling the guilt or the frustration or the angst over the belief versus the other belief, or the belief versus what I'm actually doing, buried down in there is a should, must, have to, need to somewhere. We should not skip school. So when all my friends say, let's skip school, it creates a tension for me because of the belief we should not.
Yeah. Well, when I want to be healthier, but I'm not, all it reveals is that what I want more is to sit in my recliner and watch TV. That's what I want more. Because the proof is in the pudding.
Right. And what do you want is okay.
Yeah, if that's what you want, really, truly want.
It's okay.
And you have no guilt. You don't have any discomfort or dissonance going on.
There's no law saying you got to work out, lose weight, be in good shape. There's no law.
Yeah.
Do you want to work out? Not really.
Sure.
Okay. I don't care. Do you want to be healthier? Yeah, I'm good with how I am.
Sure.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. And if you can adopt that mentality, should versus want, and this is what we kind of circle around back to as the solution to a lot of these things. The reason why I don't talk about cognitive dissonance is because this is a lot of mental masturbation.
Sure.
We can spend, and people do, they spend weeks and months and years trying to address cognitive dissonance by going and attacking a belief and trying to change that belief, to align with the other beliefs, when at the bottom of both of these is an incorrect perspective. Counselor, I disagree with the premise of your question that there should or should not be, a gas guzzling car, or should not be controls on our greenhouse gases. The premise, I believe, is flawed. Now, would I like the air to be cleaner? Yeah. Would I like to have vehicles that can actually pull a boat and haul a family of 4 around comfortably? Yes. Those two don't have to live in dissonance. Those two can. Right. And when I focus on that, that's when ingenuity can occur. Like there's a guy, and I don't know if this was his exact reasoning, But people talk about, you launch a spaceship into the air and there's all that, fire and gas and carbon dioxide that's being belched out of the spaceship. There's a guy who's figured out how to launch a rocket into space with a slingshot.
That's pretty efficient.
And it's this machine, and it spins and it spins and it spins at 9 million miles an hour. Then out of the top, boop, goes a rocket.
Yeah.
And it's just being flung in the air like a slingshot. So he has solved the carbon emissions problem while still pursuing space exploration. What do you want leads to ingenuity, leads to development.
Yep.
What you should or should not do.
Well, Tesla had that all figured out long ago.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother episode. Yes. Thank you, Doc.
You are welcome.
I have less discomfort right now going on in my mind. I'm going to try to hang on to that.
The dissonance.
Don't diss me. That's good. One more time. Thanks for joining
just these
us
guys.
today.
Just these guys.
We got Dr. Parker.
We got Mike on the mic.
Have an awesome week.